Just a young gun with a quick fuse. I was uptight, wanna let loose. I was dreaming bigger things, wanna leave my old life behind. Not a yes sir, not a no. Fit the box, fit the mold, have a seat for you. Take a number. I was like, hey, before the
Matt Smith for Mile High Sports. Thank you very much for tuning in. Well, the Nuggets get it done tonight, 107-83 over the Jazz. They have now won 3 games in a row after that road trip sweep of both Portland and Golden State, which I'm not sure you could find anyone who thought that they were going to win both of those games. Now they come back, hold serve in this building once again. They advance to 12-3 at home on this season, 19-15 overall. It is their best 34-game start since 2010, 2011. They've got a 500 record against the Western Conference, and after starting 1-5 against the Northwest Division, the Nuggets have now won their last 2. So some of those questions that we had even just a week ago are starting to be answered now, and the Nuggets are certainly ending 2017 on I think on a good note. Tonight it was a team effort really, and it was led once again by their young core. Jamal Murray with 22 points, 8 rebounds. Nikola Jokic 13 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. Trey Lyles kept up his stellar stretch of outstanding play here in the month of December, now that he's really gotten an opportunity to become a real part of this rotation. He had 16 and 8 tonight. Gary Harris 15 and 5. It was really good contributions all across the board. Of course, Wilson Chandler, who I thought has played very well in the last several games and has been a big reason why the Nuggets have kind of found a way to turn things around. Chandler 15 points, 7 rebounds tonight. That's a great sign for Wilson. Now, the reason the Nuggets won this game and the reason that they've turned things around, there's 3 factors here: defense, rebounding, and taking care of the basketball. Tonight they hold the Jazz to 34 points in the first half. Also, as a side note, Utah is now 0-9 this season when scoring 20 or less in the first quarter. But they hold the Jazz to 34 in the first half. They're doing a much better job running people off the three-point line, I think, and the numbers are reflective of that. Rebounding-wise, they finish a +11 tonight. They dominated the glass in this one for the first half. Did a better job in the second half, but it was pretty much a 15 to 20 point game, so they took their foot off the gas a little bit. But Malone at the end of that third quarter went with his best defensive lineup, he felt, and I think that for this team, finding a way to close out these games, especially against your own division, is crucial if you want to be a playoff team. Malone made note of that in his post-game press conference. They had 53 rebounds tonight. They're averaging 49 rebounds in their last 3 games. Like I said, out-rebound the Jazz by 11. They limited second chance opportunities, which is huge for this Nuggets team. If you can play good defense and you force a missed shot, you can go and get that board and run in transition, which the Nuggets have been doing more of lately. They're doing a better job going and getting those opportunities. And the Jazz tonight only had 2 second chance points in that first half. They finished with 20 because they had 16 in the second half. But like I said, the lead was never, I think, less than maybe 15 or 14. The Nuggets did a very good job tonight, I thought, on the glass overall. And they won by 24 and allowed 16 second chance points in the second half. 47 in total in the second half for Utah. 16 of those come off second chance opportunities. So really that kind of puts in perspective just how much the Nuggets dominated in this game. And turnovers, taking care of the basketball, limiting turnovers, limiting opponent's points off of your own turnovers is a huge key. Well, just last week we were talking about how the Nuggets consistently allow teams 20 points off of their own turnovers. And when you put yourself in a big hole like that, it's tough to climb out of every single night. Well, they've improved quite a bit, and the numbers back that up as well. The Nuggets were allowing 20 plus points off of turnovers in the month of November. In December, they brought that number now down to just about 17 plus. but over their last 3, they're only allowing their opponents 13 plus off of turnovers, which is huge. That means your transition defense is improving and you're doing a better job taking care of the basketball. I believe on the night, the Nuggets with just 10 turnovers, and allowed just 8 points off of their turnovers, which is huge for Denver. 22 assists and 14 turnovers they're averaging in their last 3 games. That turnover number is down about 2 per game. So really taking care of the basketball. Will Barton, Gary Harris, Jamal Murray doing a very good job. And you know what? Nikola Jokic is certainly a part of that as well. Had 10 the last time they were in this building against Minnesota. Jokic tonight with just 1 turnover. When you value the possession, it just goes so far for this team because they do such a good job moving the ball. Like I said, averaging over 22 assists a game over their last 3. A huge reason why they have started to turn things around here to end 2017, especially in a really rough part of their schedule when they needed to find a way to stem the tide and turn things around. We talked last week how if the Nuggets could find a way to hang around the 500 mark until the time Paul Millsap got back, they'd probably be in pretty good shape. Well, right now the Nuggets are certainly surpassing expectations. They're getting a lot of individual development. I think Trey Lyles has been outstanding in the month of December. Jamal Murray, I think, is becoming more consistently the guy the Nuggets expect him to be one day. Although in the post-game presser, Malone said that he's not there yet. Certainly some things he needs to continue working on. But in my opinion, on a consistent basis, Jamal Murray is starting to become one of those guys you can lean on night to night, which is crucial for this Nuggets team. Next up, and the other thing before we get into who they have next, Emmanuel Mudiay returned from injury tonight, of course, that ankle sprain. I think he missed about 4 games. He came back with 1:30 left on the clock in the 4th quarter. Proceeds to knock down 2 30-footers and 1 he got fouled on. So good to see Emmanuel Mudiay back out there. Good to see him making shots. Certainly at the beginning of the season, we talked about how Mudiay had re-entered the conversation to make things interesting between he and Jamal Murray for playing time at point guard. Of course, Murray has really stepped up here of late, but you don't sleep on what Mudiay's effect was on this team. I think that as being the 7th overall pick type of guy the Nuggets thought he would be when they drafted him, I don't think he's going to be that guy, but he's a very good role player for this team at times, especially this season. And if he can get back on the court, get healthy, and start to show some of those things he did earlier in this year, only good things for this Nuggets team. Next up, they have the Timberwolves tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Mountain Time is the tip-off, 7 p.m. Central over there in Minnesota. Of course, division leader, Minnesota Timberwolves. They lost to the Timberwolves in this building last week, 112-104. That was a game in which Nikola Jokic had 10 turnovers. The Nuggets, he said, when asked about that afterwards, about what he expects tomorrow night in Minnesota, he said, I would expect that I don't have 10 turnovers. So, you know, listen, he was in a very interesting mood after the game. He was ejected in this one because of a flagrant 2 in the 4th quarter. He got tied up with Jonas Jerebko, and per his description, Jerebko was shoving him up and down the floor, bumping into him. He took exception to it, except he said that nothing was intentional. He had to swim move around Jerebko, and the officials felt like there was contact above the shoulder. Jokic's elbow, I haven't seen the video, a good enough replay yet. Jokic's elbow allegedly contacted Jerebko in the face, so the flagrant 2 was assessed, which I don't know about flagrant 2. It would seem that there would have to be some intent to be flagrant 2, but that was the call on the floor. He was ejected, did not agree with that call, neither did Michael Malone, and he said that, you know, after the game, Malone said, listen, that's the call, you got to deal with it. But Nikola Jokic, I think sometimes lets his emotions get the best of him. Before the season, he told me that Michael Malone's biggest challenge for him this year was to learn to keep his emotions in check. And afterwards, I asked him about it, and he said he felt like he did a really good job doing that. But, you know, listen, Nikola Jokic, I think on time to time, listen, he said basketball is a very emotional game, and sometimes people pop. And I think that maybe that was what we saw a little bit of tonight. Hopefully that is where where it ends, and there's no further ramifications of that flagrant 2. Timberwolves are next tomorrow night, of course, second of a back-to-back, and then to end 2016, just 2 more games of 2017, just 2 more games left on the schedule. It'll be at Minnesota tomorrow, and then Saturday in this building, the Philadelphia 76ers come to town. Most likely Rookie of the Year Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, and that fun crew from the Eastern Conference rolls in. So if you like Nuggets basketball and you've got Saturdays off, might be a really good place to find yourself that evening. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Matt Smith for Mile High Sports. Go ahead and follow along on Twitter at @RealMattSmith. That's Matt with 1 T, and at Mile High Sports for all your Nuggets coverage. Until Saturday, we'll see you next time.